Hello, I'm the DM, and you're listening to Campaign 2 of Fools and Flagons, The Tales of Archeron. We live stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/foolsandflagons. That's fools, the letter N, flagons, every Friday at 7 p.m. Central for Tales of Archeron and 6 p.m. Central for Storm King's Chaos. If you'd like to join our community and talk not just about D&D, but other games as well, consider joining our Discord. The links can be found below in the description. Do you like us? Like, really, really like us? Consider donating to our coffee page at ko-fi.com/foolsandflagons. The links can also be found in the description. Donations and memberships are never required and always appreciated. We have no gated content for members only, and all proceeds go straight back into making Fools and Flagons an even better experience, and it helps to keep the podcast alive and well. Are you ready for some D&D? All right then. Grab your drinks and raise your glasses. It's time for the Fools and Flagons podcast.
Grab your drink and raise your glass. Make a mess and kick some ass. Dungeon Master has no chance. It's time for Fools and Flagons. Raid the dungeons and slay the dragon. Sharpen your sword and prep your wagons. There'll be death and tons of magic. It's time for Fools and Flagons. Time for Fools and Flagons. It's time for Fools and Flagons.
Well, I'm really glad that that didn't make it to the live stream. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fools and Flagons, a tabletop campaign made up entirely by me, where my players are horny little fucks, and I try to make sense of everything that they're doing. So,
Guilty.
What?
so tonight we are continuing on with the Tales of Archeron. Let's just get through the announcements real quick, and then we'll have chats. We want to thank you if you're watching us live for your follows, subscriptions, and bits on Twitch. Spooky music is spooky so early. We do apologize that we cannot verbally recognize them on stream for the sake of not interrupting the flow of the story. These chuckle fucks over here will probably be watching chat at some point or another, and they'll talk to you. Oh, audio's good. Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
We do want to give a big thank you to Martyr, Gelatinous Cube, Cargo, and Spazoid for being tavern members over on our coffee page. Your support of us is very much appreciated. We really cannot thank you enough. You are helping to keep the podcast and everything alive and well so that we can keep bringing enjoyable content to everybody. Don't look too excited there, Issa. If you'd like a spot at the if you'd like a spot at the bar with these lovely people, consider supporting us on our coffee page. Links can be found below.
Coffee.
Throw it in the chat. Oh, that button's not working anymore. Cool. How about that button? That button's not working either. Neat.
I fix it. I don't have a coffee one. I have that one.
It's trying to.
Oh.
What?
Well, that
Weird.
one works.
I might have to go and check and see if those got reset somehow.
Fire some bots.
Huh. Yeah. Damn you,
One
stream
better
elements.
Show the dog.
Show the dog.
Doge.
Doug, he's collapsed back there.
Yep.
He is dark like shadow.
He's sleeping.
So we have unfortunately had a passing, but a new addition to the D&D group. It's a sad day, but we're gonna make it a good night with some good old D&D, and hope the dog doesn't shit on the floor again.
Yeah.
He's on empty.
Well, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. So,
Zach, that joke. My God.
Nikolai,
Die.
we'll see you in Valhalla eventually.
Yeah.
We'll miss that little goober.
Poor buddy.
Does anybody else have anything that they want to bring up? Question, comments, concerns?
What ability
No,
score
get
would
your
I
butt
use
down.
to use a kobold as a weapon?
I would say that would be an unarmed attack, whether
Tactical
that
kobold.
be a melee or projectile would be either your strength or your dexterity.
Tactical
Yeah.
kobold.
Fantastic.
Are you
That's
sure
all
it's
I
not a
needed.
Are you sure it's not a perception check? Just make sure it's a kobold.
You would
Look.
also get advantage because of pack tactics.
If it's covered in only if it's melee. If he uses you as a ranged, no.
Fair.
Good thing I like to go in close.
If you're holding a thing and it's covered in dirt, 90% chance it's a kobold.
Yeah.
All right. I got nothing else. Football season's coming up again relatively soon. I only think there's going to be like one day that might throw a bit of a wrench in our plans, but yeah. That's all I got. So, if there's nothing else, let's get started. Grab your drinks and raise your glasses. It's time for Fools and Flagons.
Hooray.
Water.
Jesus, the man has a whole 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
What a
It looks
gamer.
like 20 ounce.
The massive hand that looks like soda can.
Giant gorilla hand.
All right. So, picking up where we last left off, the Tempests ventured deep into the Yutsushige forest in search of a cure-all moss that supposedly grew on the roots of a weeping sequoia. After a short skirmish with a group of trolls, the party proceeded with a little bit more caution. Soon, the light in the forest dimmed, the canopy blocking the sunlight until it was almost complete darkness between the trunks of the trees. Thankfully, Moriko has a firm grasp on directions and kept them on track. Or so they thought.
That's north.
By knowing which way north is, she knows which way north isn't. Therefore, passing by a series of carvings in the trunks of the sequoias, they began passing similar reliefs, leading them to believe that they were going in circles despite Moriko's supreme sense of direction. Beginning to hear and see things deep in the forest, the Tempest decided to rest for the evening and start strong the next dawn. At the end of the final watch, Lakin and Pez realized that Kasumi and Moriko were nowhere to be seen, and when trying to locate Zaan, they saw a glimpse of him being carried away by a large, tree-like hand. Before the two of them could do anything, they as well were surrounded by a thick wall of thorns. The Tempests all woke up, separated from each other. Kasumi and Moriko together, Lakin and Pez, and Zaan on his own. We rejoin them now as each group is confronted by a treant, and each of them being accosted for entering their forest. So, does anyone in particular want to go first?
Ladies first.
Oh,
Yep, ladies first.
why? I don't know about
It's the
that.
Because
polite
you're girls.
thing to do.
And then bunnies.
I think the bunny should go first because he has higher initiative.
No, I actually don't. Somebody else
Actually,
has
I think
higher
Pez has higher initiative than
initiative.
Zaan
Yeah,
does.
Pez has higher initiative than I do.
I can leave it
Higher
up to a
initiative
dice
goes
roll.
first.
Dice roll's always
It's
fair.
pretty high.
All right. The ladies are 1 and 2. Pez and Lakin are 3 and 4, and Zaan is 5 and 6. Oh, would you look at that? It's Zaan.
No, I don't. First off, I don't believe you. You never roll high.
It says 6.
I don't know. I don't believe you. I think those dice are rigged. They can't be yours.
Bold of you to assume I can read.
Wow, that one's actually rolling pretty fairly. So, Zaan,
Yes.
you sit up and you are surrounded by a wall of stones, which even with your rabbit hop would be quite challenging to get over. They seem to have been there for some time. The fairly thick layering of moss sitting on the top, on the peaks. Excuse me. Now is not the time to be burpy. Stop it. And the voice, deep and resonant, you would not even come close to reaching his knee. And he's sitting down, kind of crisscross applesauce sort of style. And you are just dwarfed by this creature. And I completely...
And this is a treant. You
Yes.
said.
Picture of him is in the campaign spoilers.
Oh, dude, he looks cool.
This treant seems to make a either insight or arcana check. I'll let you decide.
Insight. It's a lot better. 19.
19. You've never encountered a treant before. You're not entirely sure what these are or what they're really capable of, but looking at this creature and how it seems to be holding itself, you get a sense of very well aged. This is a old creature. Very tall, its limbs made of twisting roots. It has a sort of fan of branches coming out from the top of his head. To say that his legs are the size of tree trunks is not an understatement. You can
They
definitely
probably are.
you can definitely tell that just the size of this creature, and with it sitting there, you can tell that it's alive. It's just very subtly moving, and its head is kind of following where you are. But you can definitely see how you may have completely missed this thing wandering through the forest. It looks like a tree sitting still. And as a refresher, once you awaken and you look around and you make eye contact with it, a deep rumbling voice comes out from it. Violence to others, indifference to suffering that is not your own, selfish indulgence of desires. Why should we allow one such as you to desecrate our sacred ground? And how can we trust one who so readily chooses violence?
Zaan doesn't respond immediately. He's actually just more flabbergasted, just looking up at this large, like, thing made of wood. Like, no, infatuate. Like, admiration would, I guess, be the closest thing, because he likes working with, obviously likes working with Lid, and him seeing, like, this creature, which is obviously made of nature, but just still looks, like, grandeur, I guess would be the best word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just sits there for a second staring. Oh, sorry. He goes over what he said in his head, trying to remember it all. So, Father, you have me with desires. I can't really argue that. It's kind of a Rokusin thing. If we like what we like, and we aren't ashamed to say that we like it. How do you know of these things?
We have been watching for some time as you wander through our forest, and we listened.
I did these things in a forest? Some things. Like, did he actually do all of this in a forest? Or are these trees just...
Make an insight check.
That was not as good. What was my insight? It was plus 5, 16.
You did get into a fight with a group of trolls, and you have been speaking with each other a fair bit about things that you've been doing in the past, sharing stories. And he did say that they had been listening to you.
I would not say your assessment is 100% correct. Like I said, indulgence of desires, I cannot argue this. But I am not indifferent to sufferings that is not mine.
Then when you say what you spoke of was a lie.
Lie is not the correct term. It's more like leaving out the whole truth. Zaan looks around, just like, he can't, like, nobody else is here, obviously, right? Like, that he can tell.
Make a perception check.
Oh, wait, no, my perception is actually pretty good, though. 18.
18. You take a quick look around, and best you can tell, you're by yourself. Just you and this treant.
I don't always tell exactly how I am feeling. Do you?
We are very honest with each other. We are a family here.
And you tell your family absolutely everything. Nothing is hidden from them.
I have nothing to hide.
That is fair. Unfortunately, not everyone is like that. For better or for worse.
And that
We
is
do
why
not
so
hide-
few we allow to be in our forest, so deep.
That is also fair. I can't argue with that. But just because I do not show that I don't care does not mean that I don't. That is an assumption at face value that is not correct.
Is this something you would be willing to prove?
Alright, I guess. Sure, I guess. Guess I'm kind of doing it now, but yeah, I do not have any objections to that.
I will give you a test.
Oh, fuck, I'm not good at those. Yes, bring it on. I'm sorry.
If you pass these, and prove that you are, in fact, in control of yourself. And he seems to kind of look up front, and keep in mind that, like, he is looking down at you, and you are about breaking your neck to look up at him.
Did not realize that.
Yeah, you are tiny compared to this thing. He looks up from you towards the top of the rocks that had been erected around you, or that you had been put into. And we will see if your fellows can manage to pass theirs as well. He takes one of his hands from his knees, and his fingers seem to sink into the soil with no effort whatsoever. Around you, flowers and bushes begin to grow, and there's pollen coming off of them to an extent. It begins to create a haze around you, and you quickly lose sight of this treant and the area around you. Swatting at it, blowing, doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to be doing it, but you're breathing normally, and you're not. It doesn't feel like anything's entering your lungs. You're not getting the urge to sneeze or anything. It just seems to be a visual stimuli almost.
Okay.
Through the pollen and through the haze, you see a multitude of unrecognizable shapes, humanoid in figure, but no discernible features. And they're all speaking in mocking tones. Look at the rabid little bunny, so desperate to prove he's more than a beast. You hear one behind you chuckling. You do not think, you just smash. Are you even capable of anything else? And even another one from further behind is, you see a figure that seems to be hunched over, hands on his knees, just trying to catch their breath from laughing. You are nothing without your mother. Strip her away, and what's left? Nothing but an angry little rodent.
Oh, that's mean.
You're hearing these jests, these jibes, just mocking you from the haze. What do you do?
Most of those wouldn't phase Zaan, other than the mother one. The mother one, you could definitely see a visual, like, watch what you say, bitch.
There's a
but he doesn't say.
thunk.
Like, you could definitely tell that one hurt a little bit, but the other ones, not as much. Zaan is what he is, and he's not afraid to admit that what he is what he does.
Sorry, I just saw what Pez posted, and I had to rein it in. So make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh, okay. 27.
Okay. The figures seem to fade slightly, but then they return just as aggressively. These ones seem to be closer, moving in closer to you, kind of invading your general personal bubble, like they're within striking range now. And one of the shapes points a finger at you accusingly. You think you are helping your party, but all you do is bring chaos. You are nothing but a liability. And another one from your left. You almost feel something touching you, but you look and there's nothing there. You're so quick to lash out because you are scared. Scared of what you'll see if you stop to think. And then another one from further behind. You see their figure seems to have its arms folded. They do not trust you, Zaan. Oh wait, they do trust you. They trust you to fuck it up and get them all into trouble. They're better off without you, and one day they'll abandon you just like Valkyrie did.
Not abandon me. And if they do, so be it. I would not have wanted that. But nobody knows the future. And if you think those are the most demons that I have dealt with, then you're sorely mistaken. You may have heard what I have spoken in the forest, but that pales in comparison to what I really think.
Make another wisdom saving throw for me.
No, it's 25.
25. Okay. You now feel a decent shove to your back. Not enough to make you topple over, but enough to kind of jostle you.
Aye.
You whip around, and there's someone there, a figure. Violence is the only thing you are good for. Prove us right. Go ahead, attack. Strike us down before we get to our turn, to enact revenge on you. And as you're looking at this figure longer, you begin to pick out the appearance of Redguard armor. The telltale helmets, the layered scale plates. Another one from the side as you stand there. All bark and no bites? Maybe we should show your party how weak you really are. Not so strong without your mother or your family around to lend you their strength? And then finally, another one. This is who you are. A pitiful little rodent who tries so desperately to earn their place in the world by striking down anyone who belittles you. So why fight it? Attack us. And all the figures pull weapons out. And they look solid enough. You'd been shoved before. They begin stepping closer to you.
Do I recognize these? Do these look like the guys that, like, obviously their armor does, but
Make a perception
any
check.
facial feature? Yes, but see, any facial features or anything like that? That's not very good. 11.
11. You don't see any discernible features, but as they're getting closer to you, their weapons look similar to the ones of the guards that were trying to arrest you. And their armor, just the general outline. It's like you're looking through a yellow fog. Like the outline, the shape is there, but there's no discernible features that are easily recognizable. And the figures are getting closer. What do you do?
I have already done this once. I will not do it again. Take your revenge if you need it. I did not take revenge when I fought.
Okay. You say this, and the figures stepping closer to you just fall. The yellow haze just dropping like a bag of potatoes. Just you even feel the rush of air just whoomph. And it all seems to dissipate, and there sitting before you is still the treant, his fingers in the soil, and the hand begins to pull out, and the fingers break off, leaving what looks like tree stumps stuck in the ground, and he puts his hand back on his knee.
Does that not hurt?
Kind of looks at his hand, turns it around. You were telling the truth. To some
Mr.
extent.
I do not know the name in which you go by. Should I call you...
I am Ironroot.
From the stories that we saw, or the trees. You are not 100% incorrect. I'm aware of what I am. I'm not ashamed of it. To a degree, but you also do not know what I deal with on a daily basis. How long have you existed for, Miss Ironroot?
For a time that you would not be able to count.
Do you remember a long time ago, when this world might have been young, when gods might have been fighting things?
I am not so old as this.
Count yourself lucky, then. There are things that I deal with on a daily basis that would haunt many, and I have to make peace with them. The monsters that haunt people's nightmares? I am probably that. I do not really know what I am. I see myself as a hair-and-gone rabbit, but what more than that, I do not know. And unfortunately, I do not think I will ever know. And that also haunts me. But I have made some peace with it. I mean, how would you make peace with being the monster in children's nightmares?
I do not care if I scare the children. I am merely here to protect the forest and what belongs to us. Your answers have seemed satisfactory to me. The rock walls around you begin to rumble and shake, and you're feeling yourself kind of wobbling on your feet. And Ironroot continues to sit there for a time, and his eyes look from you and past you. Now we shall wait and see if the rest of your group can prove as worthy.
Can I botch?
No.
Zaan just sits down cross-legged, cross-armed. Fine, have a fate.
Okay. Any volunteers for who wants to go next? Oh,
I'll choose. Make it Pez and Lakin.
I was gonna say, Moriko raised her hand.
Right in the bullet. Okay.
Okay. So, ladies, the pair of you wake up almost at the exact same time as each other. You're sitting in what seems to be a low black shadow creeping across the ground. You look around, and coming up from the shadow, you see the skeletons of gnarled old trees. They're not quite as tall as the ones that you had been walking through, the Sequoias, but lower hanging, maybe a willow or a small oak. No leaves, it's been dead for a while. And your vision doesn't go for more than about 60 to 80 feet in either direction. There just seems to be a wall, a shrouded wall all the way around. There are shapes roiling against the edge as if something's trying to break through a thin fabric, until you see a set of white glowing eyes peering through it. This figure creeps out. It seems to have a cloak of leaves on its shoulders going midway down the back. You can kind of see it peeking around the side. The wood is completely black, and you can see that through the edges, the bark, this blackness is seeping through, and best you can tell that seems to be what is fueling this shadow that just is fully surrounding you. It's not quite as tall as the trees surrounding you, but it's a good 30, 40 feet tall. You would assume if it were to stand up straight, but it's kind of hunched slightly. Its legs bowed quite a bit. And it has a very fluid movement to it. You don't hear it walking. There's just a soft whooshing of air, just a bit of a breeze almost. And you can't see any movement of a mouth, but yet you can still hear the voice. Lies and guilt, anger and regret, deception and confusion, roiling emotions that stain this forest. Why should we trust those that are so tumultuous and unsure inside to do the right thing? And as it finishes speaking, it seems to fade back into the shadows again.
Moriko, Hmm? Where are we?
I don't know. But this... I kind of feel like they're testing us.
What is testing us? What was that?
Definitely not an elemental, I can assure you that, but I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I think it lives here.
Okay, so are we supposed to fight it? What?
No, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
I am a strong feeling no fight.
Then what does it want us to do?
Prove ourselves worthy, I guess. Judging by how it talked.
The figure.
But are we laying
the
on like
figure
in the
kind of
grass?
the figure comes through. You can't see grass as you sit up. You can feel ground beneath you, but it's like there's just low hanging fog, but it's all
Okay,
dark.
gotcha.
You hear the voice again from the side of you, and it's very close. And as you both look, it seems to be moving over you. You could begin by answering my questions. Why should we trust you to do the right thing in our forest when you seem to be unsure of yourselves? And then it vanishes back into the shadow.
We're here to find moss to heal people. But don't have any other purpose to be here. Don't want to harm the forest. We just are trying to help people.
Moriko, do you say anything?
Trying to figure out how I want to word this. And to what to the
Interesting
forest
answer.
is considered the right thing compared to the mortals. We are here to find a remedy to heal what is ailing the Takatari nation. And is that considered the wrong thing to the forest?
Again, the figure kind of walks from the shadow and paces in front of you, coming to a stop. Thievery and tricking. Uncertainty and unfamiliarity. How would you prove that you do not wish to bring these upon those in mine?
I mean, but by not stealing, I don't understand. I mean, we're being very upfront about why we're here. We're not trying to hide anything.
Marika's gonna go on gut instinct. She's gonna get down on her knees and just like full bow, like forehead to the ground.
Kasumi, you look over and the highlighter just vanishes in the shadow.
Moriko?
Moriko, as you bow down into the shadow, it gets dark. Completely and totally dark. You stay prone for a moment, and what do? There's no more sound.
She's gonna give it a couple beats before she sits up.
You sit up, and you don't see the tree end. What you see is Kasumi moving through a household quietly, plucking an item from a drawer, She moves to another room. She takes a delicately carved wooden toy, and as the figure moves away, you see that there was a child that had been clutching it. And then you see her in a much larger room, in an area that you are familiar with this time, a palace. And as Kasumi goes to a window, she turns and you see the jade medallion in her hand as she leaps out the window. Kasumi, as you see Moriko prostrate herself into the shadow, you look around, the treant is gone. And as you look back to where Moriko was, you now see a vision of her standing atop a pile of red guard corpses. And the vision seems pleased with themselves, standing victoriously over the triumph of battle. Seems completely unbothered by the vision of Tanaka, who is standing at the edge of the gloom, slowly backs away into the mist. A look of betrayal and anger and disgust, and the Moriko that you see is just grinning, pleased with herself.
I don't understand your tricks. This is not reality.
Feels like a lie. A rumor.
Both of you make an insight check for me.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm great at those.
I see that grin. What'd you get?
28.
Okay.
Jesus.
I am very insightful. Really, you better not try to get on that desk again, I swear to God.
The nat one.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Kasumi, you say these words with confidence, but you realize that you've only known Moriko for hardly a month, maybe a little more. You find yourself questioning, how much do you know her? She says that she's been devastated by her choice that happened in Chunsu, but now you're not sure. Moriko, you, having not been around people too terribly much, you are used to hearing and accepting things at face value. You deal with elementals. Elementals don't usually have a reason to lie. And so far as you are aware, your friend in the Tempests Mountains, she's never lied to you. Everything she said has been truthful. So when Kasumi says that she didn't steal something, you believe her. The haze fades, the visions subside. The treant stands there again before the pair of you. We all have chances to fix mistakes. If you had something that you could sacrifice of your own personal possession to prove without, and you almost hear a bit of humor in its voice as it says, without a shadow of a doubt, what would you offer?
My own life.
Moriko, you say this, and the shadows from where you were kneeling begin to creep up and around you. It's not tight or painful, but there's a pressure and you feel cold where the shadows are touching. Kasumi?
She just kind of sits there for a minute and just kind of looks down and she's like, well, I don't really have a life to offer because I'm just here temporarily.
We are all here only temporarily. Some longer than others, but eventually we all fade away.
I'm not quite sure what my purpose here was, to be honest. And I'm not sure how long my purpose will continue here. So I feel like offering my life seems like a really cheap offer on my end.
I do not ask that you mimic the pink one. I am asking you, yourself, what would you offer as a sacrifice to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, your innocence, that you are truthful?
I'd offer my ability to remain on this plane.
Similarly to Moriko, the shadows creep up around you. Not so much as Moriko, where it seems to be coiling around her neck and her chest, but it seems to go up and into you, into your core, where your true fox self is. It's very invasive and very uncomfortable. You just feel very cold. Both have chosen weighty things to prove yourselves. These choices I accept. With a lurching, somewhat painful sensation, almost like when your hands are really, really cold and you shove them into something hot, too hot. You don't give it that gradual increase in temperature. It's fairly painful, but these shadowy tendrils unfurl from around you and sink back into the ground. And the treant that is standing there hunkers down and gets its face fairly close to yours. Its eyes are almost as big, or like half the size of each of you. I have seen, and I approve. It seems that one of your others has also impressed our leader.
Ooh.
And as it's speaking, Zaan, you as well would see this, where you had just seen the gloom of the forest. Moriko and Kasumi, you see the darkness begin to drift downwards like falling snow almost, but it doesn't, when it lands and hits you, it doesn't leave residue. It's not ash or water. It just seems to dissipate. And behind this treant that had been speaking to you, you see Zaan sitting down, kind of pouting a little bit, and you see behind him, it looks like a tree, but it's sideways and folded, and it looks kind of strange, but then it moves. And the pair of you had, kind of been looking up at the dark treant, but this one, whoa, it's up there. Easily 150 feet tall. It is
Do
gigantic.
I see them?
You see them now, and you see that there is this hunched treant that had been right in front of them, and it stands up, its limbs kind of creaking and groaning as it steps aside and goes and stands beside Ironroot and seems to just linger there. Sorry, were you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna try to see if I could ask if it was one of the ends that we heard from the stories on the trees.
You're welcome to ask. It's not moving away quickly. It's just kind of lumbering.
Lumbering. Are you one of the forest beings that we read about on the trees throughout the forest?
The treant stops and turns to look at you over its shoulder. The iron root peers down at you, and you see that it has a semblance of a mouth, and you can see that it's kind of grinning. But the one that had been speaking to you shakes its head slowly. We have not joined those whose marks are borne onto the trunks of our forest. Those what
what is
came
your name?
before. I am known as Shadow Grove. And it goes, and it stands next to where Ironroot is sitting. And though it stands up a bit taller, it barely comes up to his elbow that's sitting, hands on his knees.
Zaan, are you pouting?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me sit up top. It's not fair. I wanted to watch.
Patience.
I have. Zaan's just like, what do you think I've been doing this whole time?
To be
Very
fair,
aggressively.
Zaan, by your own recollection, you sat down, pouted, and maybe a minute went by before that haze drifted down. You weren't sitting there for long.
I was sitting here for a really long time.
I counted at least to 4.
I could only count to 4.
Okay. So, Pez and Lakin, you two were awake when you had noticed that the others had gone missing and Zaan was being taken. And as you tried to scoop up your new kobold pal, thick, thorny vines appeared in a big, encircling the area that you had been camping in. And the thorny walled vines, half of it seems to come alive and just melds out of it. A big, lumbering creature moving at first on all fours, sort of in a gorilla sort of stance. And it just seems to be pacing around, thick arms, spines as big as a Pez, thank you, greenery growing throughout it. Kind of gives it a wild, untamed, animalistic sort of look, and it kind of growls at the pair of you. Animosity, resentment, vengeance, and mistrust. What brings such undesirable feelings to our wood? Let me get you guys that picture.
Oh. Oh.
Oh!
A Lugelanger.
This creature seems to be pacing ever so slightly. It's about 2.5 to 3 Lakins tall. So 24, 28 feet, give or take. And that's clearly with it being hunched over. If it were to try to stand upright, it would be nearly double that height.
Significantly.
Very big.
Big boy.
What do you both do?
I step in front of Pez, in front of the creature.
Why do you ask these questions? These words?
These emotions are dangerous when coming from the hearts of those who cannot control their impulses.
Control, you say? I am showing the epitome of control.
Same here.
And what proof would we have of this? that you do not seek to harm, to let these emotions resonate deep within your souls and consume one so old as you.
I have lived long enough to handle those emotions. I seek to help others instead of fulfilling a baser need.
You hear it taking a breath and kind of snort, a quick shake of its head. Just I can smell your age. It is a foul stench. You should be long buried. And you are an orc. No, sorry. Sorry. I had to get the joke out, but this guy's not a jokey character. I'm sorry. Moving on.
It's just resting Pez dirt.
Never quite got the Rex out from under the fingernails.
You judge
I
upon
will.
things you know nothing about.
Is this something the two of you would prove?
I look back at you, Pez, and I have kind and understanding.
If you are worthy and can prove your strength, will you...
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like an arm wrestle? I'm pretty sure I could beat him in an arm wrestle, but like, are we talking about something else? Like emotional strength or what?
There's a deep growl from the creature. Is it a yes? To be tested.
Sure. I don't see why not. I mean, don't really have much of a choice, but yeah.
What of the walking corpse?
If you seek to test me, then begin, and do not waste the time of the living.
You hear a deep, rumbling chuckle, and his fist kind of punched the ground. You claim to be of the living. I like you.
I never said for me.
The hands kind of pound the ground again in very rhythmic sort of fashion. The fingers delve deep into the dirt on both hands. And around the pair of you, similarly to the area that it had encompassed, you were both separated and covered with a thorny dome. Light goes completely dark for a moment. Pez, you look around within your self-confined space. Very small.
Small.
And you hear grunts of pain. You look behind you, and there's Lakin, wrapped up in the thorny vines, and seems to be sinking further and further into it. He's struggling against it, but he can't seem to get out of it. You can see blood coming from the punctures made from the sharp thorns piercing into his skin, just tearing him apart. And the disembodied voice of the treant comes from outside the dome. You can save him. But is he really worth your pity? Can you be his savior, one such as him that has tormented you and yours for generations? Surely, this kind of punishment is what he deserves.
I mean...
Oh, God. Oh.
The thorns.
The light.
They're touching me in places. What do you do?
I mean... He's... not the representative of the entire species of orc. He's an individual. I have
Lakin is
ire
very...
against people.
Lakin is
Not
very
one person.
quickly being sucked into the vines. It's wrapping around his neck. What are you doing?
I mean, I could. I'm not strong, but I'm going to use my strength. I'm gonna try to leap and grab his fingers. I'm pretty sure I can only grab one finger with both my hands and try to pull.
Okay, you grab hold of his finger and you start trying to pull. He's not moving much. The vines have a good hold on him. Are you just grabbing at his finger or are you grabbing at the vines?
Mm,
What are you doing, Pez?
I'm gonna try to save him, so I'm going to grab one of my daggers, of which happens to be...
You go to
The
grab for your dagger and
gun
it's
dagger.
not there.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna grab my finger daggers, also known as claws, and start digging at the roots.
Okay. You start digging and clawing. Make a strength check for me.
Sweet. My one negative trait. No, it's not a negative, actually. Ooh, 19. That's a +0, so net 19.
19. Okay.
Dude.
You begin going full rabid kobold. You are clutching, ripping with no regard for yourself. You take 21 points of piercing damage as you just go full hog, pulling him free. Once you get the last of the vines pulled away, the figure of Lakin falls forward out of the vines and dissipates. Lakin,
I'm here.
as the thorny dome forms around you, your vision goes dark for a time. And the first thing you feel is a soft breeze. And then you smell salty air of the ocean. You blink a few times and you realize that you're now standing on the edge of a cliff. To your left, you see a large boulder that seems to be teetering on the ledge with a fulcrum ready to be used that would send it toppling down the cliffside with minimal effort. Peering over the ledge, you see a familiar sight. You see Gator Den Village far below. The loathsome creatures are gleefully dancing below around a bonfire. Cries of pain from some unfortunate creature roasting alive drift up from the cliffside, up the cliffside. The ashen ichor you can see from the celebration is trickling into the river that leads into the ocean, far off into the distance. And even from here you can see the blackness polluting the crystal clear water. As you stand there, the boulder begins to shift backwards away from the ledge. And you're the only one that would be able to stop it and push it over and complete your task. One push of this boulder would cause a landslide that would wipe that village off the face of Archeron in a heartbeat. And as you see the boulder begin to go the wrong direction, you hear a small voice from behind you calling out, "Help!" Or, Nim, Pez, can you do the thing?
Help.
That one. You look around for the voice, and you can see Pez trying to clamber up over the opposite cliff ledge, but slips, hanging on as best he can. And he seems to be quickly losing his grip and probably won't be able to hang on for long.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm I'm alone, I can actually scream and shout.
Help! Help me!
So, you have a choice to make. If you go and help Pez, you may lose your chance with the boulder that could complete your mission. You could lose your new friend.
I think to myself in my head at how long an eternity is. I have more time for them, not for Pez.
So I jump towards Pez to slide over the edge and grab the little kobold.
Okay. You grab hold of Pez and you wrench him upwards. And as you see him hanging there by the scruff of his frills, the figure seems to fizzle and vanish away into darkness again. And both of you, at the same time, your domes seem to crumble and shrink back into the ground. Pez, your hands are still quite bloody and scraped. But the treant is standing there and he's looking at the pair of you, his fingers wrenching free from the dirt, and he thumps his fist down. He just looks at you both, gives a snort, and nods his head. And as he turns and begins to walk away, the viney outcropping that he had created seems to part, and he lumbers through. And as he makes his way
I would
through...
shout after this creature.
Yes.
I would shout after this creature.
You will heal the damage you have done, or face fire.
It pauses through the vines and looks back at you. Those wounds are proof of his conviction that he chose to save you, a creature of old animosity. He turns and begins thumping away again. And you see, kind of through his legs, your other companions in a small clearing on the other side. The two other treants standing there watching.
I'm gonna go up next to Lakin and say, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. It's just a flesh wound.
I rip off sections of my cloak from the lower ranges and I wrap your hands.
Oh. Thank you.
Can't use my hands now.
Like boxers wrapping.
Yes!
I can see. Are they walking towards us now?
Yes. The first thing you see is the viney walls splitting apart, and this large, pointy creature just lumbering into view stops and turns and looks back to say something, and then keeps on. And where Shadow Grove had gone to stand on Ironroot's right, this creature goes and sets himself up on Ironroot's left. And now all three are turning to look at all of you. You all saying anything, doing anything, as you see your other companions seem mostly okay?
Zaan sighs. You realize you have a priest, right? Someone's gonna walk over to Lakin and Pez, and Zaan's gonna cast Cure Wounds on Pez's hands.
Did you get hurt?
I did not know if you were alive.
You take, what does he say? Oh, that's 27 points of healing, or 27, 20, 32 points of healing damage.
Go.
Completely healed and then some. That itch on your back that you hadn't been able to get for a while, gone.
I was shedding. It finally left. Yeah, I got a little injured, but nothing a little magic can't help. Plus, I got these cool new wrap-ins. Look at them. They're so cool.
You also could have just put mud on the cuts and that would have healed it.
True, that is what I normally do, and then might lose a finger, but it grows back.
Zaan just looks at Moriko.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, heal some, not put mud in some.
healing mud.
That's
Yeah.
not. This is not how mud works.
Maybe not your mud.
So Zaan just stands there, arms crossed, right in front of him, or not crossed, his fingers entwined, as he just looks up the trance.
Ironwood looks to his right at Shadow Grove and to his left. And both of them nod towards him. And you all can feel this giant tree and take in a breath. Those of you with long hair, you almost feel it kind of like, just a little bit. Yeah, Pez, who's like floating, just like an upturned umbrella, just. Ironroot looks around at all 5 of you. You have proven your worth here. That you are not as you appear outside. Speak of what you wish to gain from entering so deep.
Didn't we need moss? Is it healing moss stuff?
From the weeping Sequoia.
Yes, that.
You, Moriko, you see Shadowgrove's head give a sharp snap to the side as you say it, and then it looks up at Ironroot. None have ventured in so deep for such a thing in a long time.
We do stupid things quite often, to be fair.
This is
The
a
moss is
noble
said
thing.
to help.
Sorry, say again. Go ahead.
The moss is said to help.
And it will. Though I am not as well versed into medicine. This moss that you speak of grows from the roots of one of our own. It is potent.
You mean a tree or what you are?
As you're asking, Ironroot stands up and he is towering above you all.
What bigger?
I'd look up and fall on my back.
You look up, fall on your back, and you're still almost having to look further back with your head to keep eye line with this thing, or looking at it. It stands up and it puts a large hand on one of the nearby trunks and seems to just gently caress it. We are all to be part of the forest eventually. He turns and begins to walk off. And for a creature as big as he is, you would expect to be knocked off your feet by its mere footsteps. But it's sort of a soft whooshing. You're feeling more the air being displaced against you than you are the actual ground shaking. The other two begin to turn and follow after Ironroot. What are you all doing?
Do we follow them? I think we're supposed to follow them.
I say follow.
Follow the iron.
But that's a tree. That's not made of iron.
Get up and start shoving Zaan.
Let's go. Come on.
You must be at least this tall to shove me.
I'm move.
Moriko's going to shove.
Fine.
Your fur is soft.
Thank you.
Kiss ass.
Oh, I love when my fur is told it's soft. I take great care of it.
Damn it.
Okay. You all follow after the treants. It's a You have to be at a bit of a jog to really keep up with them, where they are just kind of lumbering and taking their time. Is there anything you all would like to do or say as you walk along or jog along?
So how about your tests?
Bloody.
Dark and spooky.
Ignorant.
Fair.
Okay. Good talk.
It's a good time.
You were led for a decent amount of time. Except for Moriko, who has kind of got that innate sense of the passage of time. Just darkness and tree, darkness and tree. It takes a moment before you begin to realize that it's getting brighter. You're actually able to see. Zaan, you would be the first to hear it, but far in the distance you hear the sound of running water.
Says water nearby. Why? Oh, it moss. Does that make sense?
Sorry, stalling slightly as I search for notes.
I saw puppy in background.
Yes, and the child's being a jerk too.
Jesus.
Oh,
That was
I'm
weird.
sorry, that was my bad.
jump scare.
I didn't
I
know
didn't
she
hear
knew
anything.
thaumaturgy.
I had to keep turning it all the way down to yell at the kid, to then turn it all the way back up to where it was, and then all the way back down to yell at the kid again.
Sounds like bedtime.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to find my notes. As the forest begins to get lighter, you begin to see that the trees are getting less densely packed, but bigger. And what's the marching order?
I was pushed, so I'm probably somewhere in front.
So peasants on in front with Moriko behind, giving a good old shoving.
Kasumi was in the back last time with the dancing lights.
Okay. So we'll say Kasumi and Lakin in the back, bringing up the rear.
Sure.
Okay. Peasants on, you were the first to feel where you'd been kind of walking through forest detritus, branches and such, very just kind of cluttered ground, becomes cleaner. There's more grass, a little bit more spongy. The earth and the ground seems a little bit more like well watered, well cared for. There's far less just forest rubbish around. A little bit more time goes by, and you see that the trees here are much further apart. You're seeing daylight for the first time in what feels like forever, but it's only been about a day. But when you're in that kind of darkness for as long as you are, time kind of stops to have much meaning. And looming ahead of you, you hear on your right the sound of just kind of a burbling creek. And a little bit to your left, you hear what sounds more like a waterfall. Not a massive waterfall, but the sound of falling water, if that makes sense. It's not the crashing, thunderous boom of a big waterfall, but definitely more aggressive than just water running through a creek bed. Is anybody doing anything?
Looking for the waterfall.
I'm looking around.
Okay.
Sniffing around.
Schneef schnarf.
Teeth snarf.
All right. Iron Root leads you forward, and it's a bit hard to see around his legs, but eventually he steps off to his right. Shadow Grove kind of moving further to the left, seeming to kind of want to stay in the shade of the trees. And as Ironroot steps aside, you see what looks like a large pond or large break in the creek, which you can see coming from your right. And in this open area, you see ahead of you is the long sloping upward slope of the mountains that you had seen far in the west when you first entered the forest. And at the other side of the pond, you see what looks to be a tree growing at the base of the mountain that is far taller than any of the ones you had seen thus far. It is gargantuan. And it's difficult to see at first where the water is coming from, but it is seeping out of the roots into the pond. And all around the gnarled roots and the stone that it seems to be taking over is moss. You hear the whoosh of Ironroot's hand as it moves and gestures towards the tree. This is what you seek.
How much are we allowed to take?
As much as you feel is necessary.
Zaan sits there for a second. Did they say how much we needed?
We will watch closely. This, and he gestures towards the tree, is the oldest of us.
Let's be sure not to take too much.
How potent is this moth?
Ironroot stands there for a moment. And he looks towards the tree and seems to be lost in thought. The one we know as Moss Whisperer. The one we knew of. She tended to these roots, as we do now. But she knew far more than us, than any. I trust her word that it is very beneficial, but I do not know the method of which she used.
So, like, how much, like, out of curiosity, how much moss is there that we talking about? Is there, like, a lot?
It's a lot.
Like, it's a lot of
It
moss.
is growing all over. I posted a picture of it in the campaign spoilers.
You did?
Yes.
Is big.
Oh. Oh, God. I don't know if we could even take enough to really, make a dent here.
Still, let's be respectful.
I mean, I'm not gonna take some moss. You guys take some moss. Mrs. Heals the cuts with mud.
Oops.
Oh.
It's because he's muted.
Side eye!
New audio setup, so.
So yeah, moss.
Sorry, were you saying, what were you saying that we missed?
He wasn't, and that's.
Oh.
I wasn't.
Oh,
But
okay.
because he's not speaking through his mic and it's coming through mine, Discord was like, "Oh, you're not talking. Let's move you down."
Oh.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay. I think we can probably,
We'll fix that.
yeah. Instead of him being muted, we can put his input to like 1% or something. So it's still coming through, but it's not coming through. That might be the best fix for it. That's so funny. Ironroot sits down at the edge of the pond and sticks one of his feet into it, and you just see the ripples that had been mostly smooth surface, just a little bit of disturbance, is now just like waves washing across the entirety of the surface. I must
How far
ask.
away from
Sorry?
this embank? How far away from this embankment to the moss are we?
You could swim there easily. You could also try to walk around to the other side. It's far enough away that even Zaan wouldn't be able to rabbit hop across.
No,
I
not
walk into the
fair.
water.
You walk into the water? Okay.
Yep. And I don't swim. I walk.
Oh, he's pulling a brick.
He is.
Oh, he's pulling a brick.
It's certainly a skill.
Ironroot watches as Lakin just like kind of stands there for a minute as everyone is just kind of taking in the scene. He's like, fuck it. Just goes. Doesn't seem to stop you. He does look at the rest of you, though. You are the first to be in this place for many of my kind's generations. It is interesting.
What is interesting?
So few avoid this place. So few make it here to even reach our notice.
Is that good or bad?
Neither.
It's kind of, I was about to say, it kind of feels like a neither thing for me.
Well, hopefully we won't need to return, but I'm not sure if you're aware, but a good portion of this area is dying outside of this forest. And we were sent here to try to save it.
Wait, what?
This is news to my ears. We are tasked with protecting this forest and this glade.
Yeah.
Blurble, 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 blurble. I am curious what you would use this lichen for.
We were told that this moss could help cure illnesses that were being caused by the condition of the land, correct? She looks at everyone for confirmation.
No, I'm pretty sure we had to get some moss to help sick people.
That's what I just said.
No, I thought you said we got it to help heal the trees and land.
It's to help with the blight in the harbor towns.
To cure an illness that is being caused by the condition of the land.
Yeah.
Lakin, you make it across. The water is crystal clear, glacial water. You step down into it, and if it hadn't been for the resistance of the water itself, to you it could have almost just been like you had been walking along on the surface. You eventually make it across to the other side, kicking up a little plume of dust silt from the bottom, but you get there and you clamber out. There's plenty of moss around.
I want to reach up and feel,
Sorry, say again?
I want to reach up and feel it first. Does it react to my touch?
No noticeable reaction. It is soft and lush. It seems very healthy. Make an Arcana check for me.
I am good at these.
Why did the music stop?
I don't know. I thought God was mad for a second.
No, that weren't me.
Dad, what are you doing?
What the fuck? Ah, it's so loud. Sorry.
Not really.
Oh, it was for me.
No.
What's loud? Who?
That is a 21.
21. You're not fully on par with healing or divine or those sorts of magics,
I
but
dabble.
you dabble here and there, of course, sure. You dabble enough to know that whatever this is, wherever this watery runoff comes from and flows through this tree, something is empowering it, and this is going to be some potent stuff if it can be handled properly.
Well, I would like to get as close to the tree as I can with the mosses at its thicket.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, using the back end of my dagger to scrape, I want to pull off the base of the moss in its entirety. I'm imagining like a graybeard's kind of moss,
Okay.
except more luscious.
Yeah.
So I kind of drag that across to bring some of the rooting with it, and then I basically just start stuffing it into my jacket. I'd say I grab about 10 pounds worth.
Okay. You're very gentle, very methodical with it. And as you are scraping, you hear the familiar thumping 4 cadence of the treant that you had encountered, kind of just moving along towards the base of the tree. Doesn't sound aggressive, seems to just kind of be moving along. And then you hear the heavy splashes as it moves into the pond itself, and seems to have come along the bank and is going down to where you would come up, and is just pacing around like the bottom roots of the tree. But you are able to successfully scrape off a load of the moss, stuff it into your coat. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Walk back.
Okay. So you finish with your gathering, and you just kind of walk right off the rock into the water, and start making your way back.
I'm just moseying, man.
Yep, taking your time. The rest of you, well, you had seen Lakin in the distance working. Is there anything you all were doing?
I was going to reach into my backpack and pull out an item that I haven't used in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a jar. It has a little axolotl in it and a moss ball.
Oh.
You forgot I had that, didn't you?
I did. Okay, and what are you doing with it?
I'm going to look to... Who's the main tree guy? Is it Iron Root?
Iron Root.
Yeah. Mr. Iron Root, sir, as a thanks for trusting us and all that, can I offer you this in return? I don't really have much use of it, and I think this little critter and his little moss ball might have a nice little home here with you.
The hand comes down, and even laying it as flat as he can on the ground, you'd still have to kind of like hop to try to get it in there.
I need uppies.
He lifts it up to his face to take a look, and I mean, like it's just itty bitty in the palm of his hand. If this creature looks for a home here, I do not see why not. And he brings his hand back down to where you are.
Can it understand me when I do speak with animals? I don't think we've ever tried that.
What, the little axolotl?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you've tried.
My eyes glow green. Well, what do you say, little dude? Wanna chill here and actually swim around with your little moss ball, or you wanna go back in the dark abyss of my bag?
I like the dark,
No.
but I don't mind to swim. I can be free.
Mhm.
Free.
Free me.
It'll look back up at the iron root dude.
Yeah. He'll chill here with you guys if that's okay.
He will live as he may.
Is that Pez?
Hmm?
How is he gonna get up his boulder?
It's a jar.
Is it a jar? I thought it was a ball.
It's like a kind of like this,
Oh,
but
okay.
more spherical, like less knit.
Can it fit through the thing, the little hole plug thing?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of its
How else
gimmicks.
did it get in there?
Put it in when it's small. When it got older, it can't get out anymore. I don't know.
I had a jar around here somewhere that made the good sound, but I can't find it, so just...
Oh, the thunk.
Yeah.
This is a jar. Dear God.
I'm gonna go up near the water and pour out the water in little axolotl and moss ball.
Okay. You free the creature, and it kind of grabs onto the ball and just around its tiny little arms and begins swimming away. And Lakin, you are just at this point about to get to the other side, and you see this small, pale lizard thing with pink frills clutching what looks to be just a little ball of moss, just swims like right at you, looks you dead in the eyes, and just kind of bonk, and then just swims around your head and just keeps going. So Pez, to your eyes, you let the axolotl out, and then a fucking orc just terminators out of the water.
Oh,
I evolved!
good thing I'm wearing my brown pants.
Back and
I
back.
reach
Back
into
in.
my jacket and pull out a clump of the moss.
How big is this clump?
Probably in my hand about 5 pounds. Into Moriko's hand.
I thought you were gonna plop it on me. Just
I would have laughed my ass off.
No, I give the other 5 pounds and plop it on Pez.
Oh God.
I'm encumbered again.
I'm encumbered.
If you require more, just ask.
Just gonna look at them. I think this should be plenty. They didn't give us an exact amount.
It is potent from my arcane knowledge.
Thank you, Lakin.
Give you a very no.
So should we
Decide
head
what
back?
now.
What's it smell like since I'm currently engulfed in it?
Photosynthesis.
It smells like photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Oh, there's an eye.
Sorry, say that again.
What's it smell like?
Loam. Petrichor.
I don't know what either of
I know
those things
exactly
are.
what that- I know exactly what that smells like.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it smells great.
I appreciate that shit, Ian.
As you are figuring out if you need more or not, Shadow Grove lumbers around behind. You are welcome to come back and get more. You have proven yourselves to be truthful, and looks particularly towards a few of you, and willing to change.
I notice
These
he
are
doesn't
good
look at me at
things.
all.
I have been resisting the urge to like echo every other word that you say for that shadow one, just to make it sound creepy and cool, but I have been a good kobold.
Little fourth wall break, never hurt anybody. Do you all wish to stay for a time?
That would be dangerous.
What? Why?
Zaan just gestures at himself.
I am a literal walking fire hazard.
Well, I know we don't really have a concept of time with how long it took us to get here.
Uh-huh.
How long would it take us to get back to the lumberyard? Kind of looking at the tree end.
Shadow Grove speaks up again this time. Without my meddling, it will be less than half a day.
Wait, did he say without or with?
Without Shadow
So-
Grove's meddling.
So
Mariko,
with
what
his
time
meddling.
is it?
It would take longer.
Mariko, what time of day is it?
Dean, what time of day
It's
is
12 p.m.
it? Half past
Is
the
this-
freckle.
Is this thing working? Hello.
It's hot pink right now.
It's you had been kind of yoinked at the very end of the last watch shift, so it's still relatively early in the day.
It's still about morning-ish.
Mhm.
We could get
Okay.
back.
Do we want to try to head back and just see if we can confirm with Takatari that this is the right amount of stuff?
Yeah,
Sure.
works for me.
I have no idea why we are here.
That's why we're here. And she points at the moss.
We're here because we don't know.
Mariko's gonna look to Shadow Grove. Thank you for your invitation, though.
Yes.
We are happy to see new faces. Not that I do not like my brothers and sisters here, but meeting someone new has been a pleasure. You have subverted my previous expectations of your kind.
I wouldn't use us as a basis for that.
Ian,
That's me.
can I rummage through my little notebook of the previous owners of the cart and see if they had any mention of a place like this?
Are you going to go through the book itself, or are you going off of your memory of what you read?
I'm gonna keep that book on me.
Well, I'm asking because depending on how you want to, which way you're trying to get that information is going to determine the role.
I'm looking through the book.
Okay,
Hopefully
make an
there's
investigation check.
index. Investigation.
Would Jaw have written an index?
Guidance.
Ooh, guidance. Is that a +4?
You get a plus a D4.
Plus a D4. Ooh, I'm gonna need that. Where's my D4? Come here. You're so pointy.
With the
It's the best
ethereal
cantrip in the
singing,
game.
with
Yeah.
the ethereal singing, all I can think of is just like a siren in the background.
What'd
Would
you
you
get?
say investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. What is 18 plus 7?
25.
25.
That number.
Okay. You flip through the book quite a bit, and you find that there was a significant gap between when they had left the Knightly Kingdoms and come to this continent and when they came back. The next journal entry is when they've already returned, and they kind of speak of their time here, but no real mention of this area.
Did y'all happen to come across, or did anyone come across to you guys who look like a very big purple version of me, a big giant purple dragonborn and a pink tiefling? Did any of them come by here?
None of this rings a bell to us.
Interesting.
Do you guys like foot coughings?
Don't.
Zaan,
Yes.
you should practice patience and temperance at this moment in time.
But I was going to say, if I come back to visit, I might be able to carve something beautiful into the roots or
Stop.
things.
Is that like tattooing?
Stop.
Yeah, this is literally tattooing for trees.
Well, I guess it'd be closer to like scarification.
Yeah.
Zaan smiles like he's not. There's no malice behind it, but he's smiling up at them like. I asked the question. I don't care.
The prickly treant that had questioned Lakin and Pez kind of thumps around back through the water, the water just cascading through its limbs, just leaving a trail, and you hear a heavy snort. I wonder how far you could throw that one iron root. Perhaps you could clear the forest in one.
Very possible. My ego is mighty.
It lumbers past you, Zaan, just kind of stepping over you, and moves towards Pez and Lakin.
Zep.
You have shown that even roots twisted by mistrust can grow together. And it pulls from itself what looks to be 2 rings of interwoven vines and holds it down towards the pair of you. Carry this bond forward and let your unity become your strength.
You getting married?
They look more along the lines of bracelets.
Oh. It changes my statement.
Having handed you the 2 gifts, it lumbers away. And Kasumi and Moriko, you feel that little shiver go up your spine, that uncomfortable sensation of how Shadow Grove had kind of like clutched at you, and you just feel that presence behind. I too wish to commend the pair of you. Your past need not define you, but neither can it be ignored. Carry this gift from me as a reminder of your promise to walk the path of truth. It holds out to the pair of you a singular item. It looks like a, how best to describe it?
Petrified wood.
Yes, it looks like a pendant made from Shadowgrove's own bark. The top part seems to be more brown, where the bottom has a kind of somehow almost transparent but still opaque blue to green shift. It looks like it is a chunk of its own body that it hands to the pair of you. Zaan, as
only
you
one?
Yes, just the
Okay.
one. Zaan, as you kind of look around, just seeing them getting cool stuff.
Yeah. Left out again.
You hear another snapping sound. An iron root is reaching down towards you. You have proven that even in the face of aggression, a healer's heart can endure. Take this and let its roots shield and restore those you hold dear.
Oh. Oh.
What he passes down to you, it looks like a medallion of sorts, an amulet, with interwoven knotworks that seem to be almost in the shape of a shield, the knotwork filling the interior of the design. The twisting knotwork seems to match the color of Ironroot's own body. Take these gifts from us so that you can continue to do good. And remember that you are good. You are welcome to stay in our forest whenever you see fit, if you need protection. If there is nothing else that we can assist you with, we hope for your safe journey.
Zaan looks at the amulet. This is really nice. Fine, I will give you something nice in return. Pulls open his shirt. No, not really. But yeah, pulls open.
It reaches down, tries to get a pinch, and just rips a whole carpet off of you.
Oh, no. He pulls out the holy symbol that he normally uses.
Mm-hmm.
That he carved out of wood. And just realized what I said. Regardless, and before he goes away, he offers it up. It's really nice. Made it myself. It's of my god. Previous god.
Oh, there we go. I was like, why does it keep stopping? Ironroot very gingerly reaches down and takes the offering from you. He pulls it way up and looks at it. This is well done.
I am good at carving wood. Sorry.
I will know who to call on when it is my turn to join the others.
Oh, I would love that.
If you live so long. And Ironroot
I don't know.
stands up, moving very quickly away from your teeny tiny little bunny voice.
No.
All right, what are you guys doing?
So we head back.
Yeah.
Are we heading
I
back with
agree.
no meddling?
I do not believe there will be trouble heading backward.
I will assure it. Comes Shadowgrove's
Oh.
voice.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. Moriko knows which ways aren't north, so therefore, as you all head back into the wood, Shadowgrove is lumbering behind you. keeping it a decent pace back so that, so as not to interfere or like eavesdrop or anything. You get into the wood where it starts to become darker. Shadow Grove seems to vanish from sight. But the trees before, how you had been having to go up and around the roots, you seem to be going back the exact same way that you would come in, but there doesn't seem to be any interference. You're just going in a straight line. You're not having to veer to the side or go around anything. The air is less stifling. It's more clean and normal. So as you are all making your way further and further through the forest,
Make it away.
we're going to take a quick break. So don't go too terribly far. We'll be right back to see what comes of the Tempests now. So grab a snack, grab a drink. And we are back. So when we last left off a few minutes ago, the Tempests had successfully gotten the moss from the treants, having failed to ask one of them their names. But your journey back through the Yutsushige forest seems to go much smoother than before. There's less twists and turns and obstacles in your way, namely the large trees. They all seem to have moved to make a pathway through. You're not 100% sure if that was due to Shadow Grove's meddling, or if perhaps just on this trek back through, it's just much easier than when you went in. After traveling for maybe half a day, you begin to hear shouts in the distance, the sounds of lumber being struck, sawed. You see a beast, one very similar that you had seen when you were walking out, pathing in front of you, and it stops, and it stares at you for a very long time. Lakin just slowly chewing some of his field rations, locking eyes with the beast.
It's weird because I'm eating and I don't normally do that.
This is a new thing for me. The beast eventually moves on, continuing its patrol around the perimeter of the lumber yard.
Where is this Tanaka fella? Isn't that who you are to report to?
Yeah, but I don't think we're back in the lumber yard proper yet.
This looks like we're on the edge.
So you said this creature had looked at us before?
It looked very similar to one of the creatures that you had seen patrolling the area when you were leaving.
You go into the forest?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the daimyo's beast things.
Oh.
That Beastmaster thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I would have tried to communicate with it, but I only have the ability to speak with animals once per long rest, which is dumb.
Shush.
Okay. You continue along, being sure to keep an eye out for any falling lumber. The trees become very swiftly more regimented and patterned out than the wildness of the forest that you had been traveling through before. And soon enough, you were able to see far in the distance the daimyo's palace. And soon enough, the tools and the workers moving through the area. You can see surveyors are pausing in their work to look at you as you pass by, but they don't seem interested in stopping you. Soon enough, you get to the busier part of the lumberyard where you had parked the wagon previously, and sitting there on the front steps of the wagon is Tanaka.
What's up?
Do you want to show yourself at us? You actually don't answer that question.
We're alive.
I see that. After nearly 3 weeks of being in the woods, I'm surprised to see you are all in one piece.
That was 3 weeks.
Wait, what? You are screwing with us?
Are you being serious?
He tries to hold back a grin, but he fails miserably.
No, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I'm
best,
so
it
gonna
is-
make you run alongside the cart.
He kind of holds. He's kind of sitting there, and he kind of holds up a hand. He's like, "I don't think we're quite even." And
Then it's a start.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh no, that was good. You had me going very
No,
well.
you have. Oddly, you have only been gone for 2.5 days. Not all that long.
We have moss.
But we met the trees.
We spoke with them. They spoke back.
He kind of looks from you to one of the nearby trees. That's not the weirdest thing you've said to me, though.
Actually, no, this is quite a normality with us now.
Yeah, but we're special because we're the first ones that the trees liked enough to let us in.
Such just like, don't ask me why.
I feel like there is a story that I do not wish to know about.
Hope you didn't hear it.
That's fine. Or
Even-
Long ago.
Pez just goes,
Mr. Black.
"Oh!"
The kobolds in a trench coat oncoming.
The kobolds in a trench coat. So you have the moss, so we are done here, yes?
Well, how much did we need?
You see him sitting there, and he goes,
I don't know.
You've got to be kidding me.
Why
We
would
get
you
a lot.
"In my defense, I was ordered to make sure you do not cause trouble. Not to make sure that you are completing your task to the utmost. Ish.
So we're gonna bring what we have, and if that's not enough,
You get to go in this time.
We are allowed to come back and gather more if needed.
That's a bonus.
I
But
think,
only
like,
us.
I think we had like 10 pounds worth of it.
I am no medic.
I am.
I hope it is enough.
A painful medic.
I'm ready to go back in the cart.
It heals it with the harsh truth of reality.
Healing damage.
No, that's reserved for you.
Cassie, can you open up?
I assume he's still like sitting on the stoop in front of the front door.
He gets thumped pretty heartily by the door. Let me get out of your way. He stands up and gets the fuck out the way. Well,
And we waddled inside.
Lot.
Zaan will pat him on the shoulder as he walks
Yeah,
in.
as soon as
You
going
missed
in.
quite a sight.
I am happy to have stayed where I was. So,
And the trolls on. Don't forget the trolls.
Ah, yes, and you've messed the troll that we destroyed the trolls.
I will continue to make sure the cart remains safe from here on going forward.
Oh, that is no fun.
I am not
You're
here
a
for fun.
warrior.
I am a keeper of the peace. There is a distinct difference.
So if the trolls attack the lumberyard, then you would fight.
Yes.
I will keep this in mind.
So just like,
Please don't. Sir?
I walk by.
Asshole. Okay, what's the plan?
Yeah, we need to head back to Mr. the Shogun, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Cassie? Back the way we came.
I do not believe, as Tanaka gets into the wagon, I do not think the Shogun requires us to return. I believe it is more worthwhile for us to bring it straight to the village that needs it.
Cassie, to the village.
What village is that again?
I believe we are looking for... This part becomes a little bit more confusing. The villages on the southern shore of the Kudong Harbor are both one and many.
Yes, that is as clear as mud.
I am struggling to describe it properly.
Which ones are struck with blight?
I know of the name of the one that we are going to, but finding it is a bit more difficult.
How do you not know their villages?
As I said, the Kudong Harbor is both one village and many. There is the Dragon Shore, the Calm Water Piers, which is the one that we are looking for, the Maple Sands, and Octopus Rock. They are districts, regions of the area.
Then perhaps we should go there and then ask the locals where the exact one is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What Moriko said.
Cassie, do the thing.
The wagon begins trundling forward. Oh, he got AFK'd.
Okay. We'll move you back.
So, the wagon begins trundling along. First heading east to get back to the main road, then eventually towards the north. Is there anything anyone is doing on, yes?
I need to go at a good time to go see, Burn.
For
The stuff I asked for.
the stuff you asked for. Just checking.
And food. Because I'm not a heathen.
Well,
Also, Marika wants to go up to Kasumi, like, Kasumi, you know the pendant thing that the shadow tree gave us?
Yes.
I think you should have it.
Well, that's very nice, but is it something that I have to practice with and get used to? Attunement.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Either way, it's pretty. I think it'd look really pretty with your eyes.
Well, that's very sweet of you. I'll hold on to it for now. Thank you.
Okay.
No, it does not require attunement.
Cool. Because if
Yeah.
I did, I couldn't use it.
I don't think
Same.
I don't think any of them require attunement,
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nice.
which is on purpose. Cool. So Zaan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I cannot find in my notes what you were waiting for with Fern.
I had 3 scrolls of anti-magic zone. That was about it, actually.
There it is. Found it.
Yay!
Okay. So, as the cart trundles along, looking at the map on the interior wall, best guess, it'll take you 2 to 3 days to get there at a normal pace. You do have to go straight east to get to the main road, and then up again until you get to where the hell? There it is. Until you get to the westerly road that would take you to Chunsu, and what looks like, well, there's 2 options according to the map. You can either go up north closer towards Kosaten, and then take one of the side roads there to one of the dock towns, or you can go east along the road to Chunsu and then pick one of those routes north.
It doesn't really look like there are any towns north of the river.
There's no river, there's the harbor.
Sorry, the harbor.
Right, there's the village is on the southern shore.
Okay.
So where you're at Yutsushige, you've got the road that leads you towards the stretch that goes north to south. So you can either go north towards Kosaten and then head east to one of the side roads there, or you could take the road towards Chunsu and take one of the pathways north towards the harbor. The little dots.
You guys want to go maybe a gesture like the top left town? Talk to that town and then see if we need to go from there.
Yeah, because it looks connected. Okay.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we just work our way over until we find where we need to go. Also, who are we turning this into? Like, obviously we're bringing it as a town, but, like... Tanaka! Who are we giving this to?
Is there like a town emperor kind of thing?
Is there a town emperor? A town emperor!
I'm not 100% sure who we are looking for. They're sort of communities. There's no sort of leadership per se, as these districts sort of sprawl into one another. There's no one ruling body. This is, for lack of a better word, one of the more poor areas of the country. There will be certain people who will take charge more than others. I am sure we will be able to ask around and find someone that will be able to point us in the right direction. Again, my apologies. I assumed that you were the ones that were given the information about this. I was merely instructed to make sure that you do not step out of line again.
No, he just told us nothing. This is get moss and goes there.
Excellent.
Hey,
It's okay.
that's
They're,
my
you
emperor.
setting us up for success, per usual.
Laughs when Kasumi says that. Ah, yes. You're used to being set up by people, aren't you?
That sounded mean.
No, it's the truth.
I am beginning to see the correlations here.
Relations of what?
Let's just get going.
Okay.
It's a good thing Cassie hasn't stopped. So, for the next 2 or 3 days, is there anything anyone wants to do along this journey north?
Riko's gonna sit on the bench.
Okay.
Kasumi would like to try to commune with Shunsei.
Okay.
I already told you.
Lakin, you had your hand raised there.
I'm going to talk with Kasumi after she's done doing that.
Oh god.
That's Kasumi's time with Dr. Lakin.
You're all
The
fucked
office
now.
is open.
No.
I will make house calls.
Aggressively.
Boom, boom, boom. Dr. Lakin, open up! Okay. So we'll go around the area or around the group and get things done as such. So Moriko, you're going up onto the bench and you're just keeping an eye out.
Keeping an eye out, make sure nothing tries to fuck with us.
Okay. Roll 3d20 for me and let me know what they all are.
She got
3
she got
d20s?
call lightning holstered.
I need another d20. Okay.
You can roll 2 and then roll another one.
No, I need 3.
Yes. I need 3.
Okay.
You said 3, DM.
I did.
Oh. Okay, so I got a natural 20,
Okay.
a 16, and a 14.
Okay. All right. So I will bounce back and forth intermittently to you, as those are your perception checks for 3 days. So, Kasumi. How soon into the trip do you go to try to speak to Sensei? Do you do it day 1? Do you wait a day or so? Sorry.
She probably tries to do it the evening after they get to the cart and start traveling again.
Okay, so evening of the first day. Okay.
Yeah.
Zaan, do you immediately go to see Fern?
I don't think I can immediately, but as soon as time zones allow me to go, yes.
Okay, so you would have to wait for the evening as well. Good call.
Yes.
All right. So, Pez, I know that you had to get up for a second. Is there anything that you wanted to do over the next 3 days of travel?
Probably just going to had to get back in the Pez mindset.
You have
How's
moss
my-
in your possession.
Right? We're just on the road traveling for the next 3 days, right?
Yes.
And Tanaka is there to be accosted.
WWPD, what would Pez do?
The current consensus is you are going to head north towards the crossroads town of Kosaten and then travel east along one of the side trails to get to the top leftmost portion of the Kudong Harbor Village.
Okay. Pez is just going to keep to himself. He's going to try to, well, he's gonna like socialize with people. He's going to, I guess, shit.
I mean, everybody poops, so.
Flustered right now. He's going to.
You can think about it as I go through other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Yeah. So, Moriko,
Yes.
during the first day of travel, it's nice to hear the sounds of life that you hadn't really been hearing in the other parts of the Takatari countryside. While the grasses around here are still fairly dead, just the dried brush, the loose powdery dirt, the trees of the Sequoia forest to the west are still lush and vibrant, and there's still birds flying from them to look around, scavenge, and try to find some food. There's not a whole lot that really catches your eye. About mid-afternoon or so, as the sun is dipping beyond the other side of the mountains, far off in the distance to the east, which would be the right side of the wagon, you see what looks just to be kind of like a plume of dust. It just kind of balloons up, drifts for a ways, and then settles back down again. Didn't hear anything, didn't see anything. Not sure if some structure collapsed and kicked up dust, or someone's playing with some kind of alchemical mix, or trying out a spell. It's hard to tell from here. But otherwise, the journey... Yeah.
So long as nothing is moving closer, she's not concerned.
Okay. That's the most interesting thing you've seen today, except maybe a cloud that looked kind of like Zaan.
Yay, bunny
Wow.
clouds.
Just a fat white lump with two things sticking out of it.
Yeah, now way to make me sound ugly. Thanks.
Thanks.
Dick.
So, Kasumi. Nighttime comes around. You're sitting in the front bay window. Zaan kind of realizes that night has fallen. He gets up from his chair and he goes towards the pantry. Clicks it a few times, lets himself in, seems to be heading off towards Ferns. Morikos is still up in the seat of the wagon. Pez is probably with her, or he's rooting around in the walls looking for bugs. Not entirely sure. But it is the evening time. Everyone seems to be winding down for the most part. If you would like to go and try to speak to Sensei.
Yep.
Okay.
She's gonna go up to the altar. Her posture is still a little defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of her shoulders slumped, but she kneels down and tries to take a couple deep breaths, and instead of doing a bone ritual, she is just going to light some incense, close her eyes, and just try to meditate and try to see if she can reach out and feel Sensei's presence.
Okay. Whereas before, you had even struggled to light the incense, the altar seeming to refuse flame. You're able to light the incense, and they begin to burn. And you sit and you meditate for a time. The incense remains lit, and you feel a slight warmth. The tension right in the center of your back between your shoulder blades seems to ease slightly. The stress, the burden, that weight seems to be lifting slightly.
She's gonna take one of the jade statues out of her, like the little ones, out of her bag, and set it on the altar. And she's just gonna bow her head for a moment and Sensei, I know you probably aren't to the point where you want to speak to me directly yet, but we're trying everything we can to help as many people as we can. And I know we can't erase what we did, but we're trying to do what we can. And hopefully we're headed in the right direction. But I appreciate you at least letting me know that you're still there.
You finish your prayer, and that warmth you felt in the center of your back seems to begin to crawl ever so slowly outward. It doesn't quite flush your extremities like you had been used to, but it's giving you a sense that you're on the right path again.
She's going to continue to meditate until the incense burns out.
Okay. Lakin, you had been waiting for Kasumi to get done with her prayers. Are you waiting for her to come down from the altar, or are you going to go and find her there?
I will give her space.
Okay. So Kasumi, when your incense does eventually burn down, it's a decent while.
Mm-hmm.
Lakin, where would you be waiting for her?
I imagine in one of those big, comfy chairs.
Okay. So Lakin is down in the midway point down the stairs in the front bay window. Assuming that you would go down for food or just to see who was around.
She does go back downstairs for a moment because it is getting later. But she is gonna make herself a cup of tea, her nighttime tea, and just kind of stand up near the kitchen counters while she drinks it.
Okay. She comes downstairs and passes you, Lakin. What would you like to do?
Is she like drinking her tea like close to me?
I mean, I'm at the kitchen counters.
So she would have had
That
to
is-
have come down the stairs, go past you, down, and into the kitchen. So you're still in the front bay window, but she's kind of behind you now in the kitchen area.
I will walk down to the kitchen area.
Are we the only ones down here?
Pez, where are you?
I'd be probably looking at the map.
On top of the table, under it.
On top.
So Pez would be in the room. So as you're sitting in the bay window, you come down the stairs. There's the table with Pez sitting on top of it, looking at the map on the wall, and Kasumi is further back, leaning against the counter where she had made her tea, with the pantry door Zaan had gone into further against the far wall.
And it's evening time?
Yes, it's getting on into nighttime. For everyone else that's a normal creature of habit, they'd be getting near time to go to bed.
Good evening, Pez. Good evening, Kasumi.
Howdy.
Hello.
I don't want to be forward, but I have spoken at great length with each one of the Tempests, and I wonder if you would humor me with a conversation.
That depends what type of conversation.
Well, a conversation, not a confrontation, conversation that
¿Por qué no los dos?
orientates around the current situation, state of affairs.
Go on.
At length, it seems there is a great deal of hardship and emotional pain that each one of you carries. Is this correct with yourself?
I mean, we've all been through quite a lot since we were all fated to find each other.
But in these most recent times, you have found yourself at a low point.
I mean, I would say being called a murderer and being thrown in jail, yes, would be a little bit of a low point.
Are you a murderer?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look between the two of them and slowly back away. Just back away. I'm gonna leave y'all to. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Bye.
She kind of gives you a little bit of a side glare. She's like, "How fucking dare you just leave me in
That's
here?"
a big side eye.
He's doing that thing that kids do when they're going up the stairs, like all forced, like. "Taka, taka, 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 taka."
I'll still peek my head around the banister just in case.
I know you do not have a great deal of trust for me. I would like to think I have earned a little bit of trust with each of the members of your cohort. I would like to be able to earn a little bit of your trust.
Well, I mean, I feel less concerned that you're going to turn on us. Less concerned.
I see. You are the protector of your friend. That is your role.
I feel like they have more to lose than I do.
Why do you think that?
I don't really have much left.
You have them.
Yes.
And how much pain and sorrow would they feel if they were to lose you?
Well, that's a relative term, to be real, because I'm not technically like a mortal being. If that makes sense.
Neither am I.
Okay, so then you should understand. If I cease to exist on this plane, there is a very high likeliness that I will continue to exist on my plane. So I wouldn't technically leave them. I could still watch over them.
Do you think they would prefer that or having you with them?
Strange question.
You're giving me convoluted answers. Shield yourself.
Clearly they would prefer that I remain here.
So you have much to lose.
She just kind of like slowly blinks and looks at you and...
How dare you?
Is there a motive to this conversation?
I'm not skilled in the arts of healing, like warrior Zaan. But what I have gained over a very, very long, let's say, existence, is perspective. And a perspective can damn you if you allow it to. If you carry such guilt and hate within, it will only erode the friendships that you have made. Don't you think they would rather see you smile? Don't you think they would rather see you laugh?
Perhaps there will be a time for laughter. But right now, we are tasked with fixing the wrongs that were done. That is my priority.
And you are seeing it through.
Yes.
Take those little victories. Rejoice with your fellow. Be companions again. You don't have to be attuned to the arcane to feel the tension. It is palpable.
Look, I know that you are new to our group, and you're seeing things from an outside perspective. But I seem to have found myself in an endless loop that I'm trying very difficult, like very, very hard to get out of. But I won't be able to rest until I know that I no longer have them looped into that sense of purgatory that I have been feeling.
One's own mind can be a prison. It is based on belief. If you believe yourself in a purgatory, then you are. But if you wish to break free of those chains of belief, it just takes a little bit of understanding. Understand that you, in the most graceful words that I've heard from Pez, fucked up. And realize you're not perfect. Even for an immortal.
I never once thought that I was perfect.
But you treat yourself like you are.
Not quite. But I appreciate your point of view. But just know that it's not going to be a simple switch of the mindset. There are still so many unknowns when it comes to this task. I mean, Tanaka doesn't even know what he's doing.
Which raises a question to my mind of your current predicament with the collar. He seems so readily to damn you for what was done, unwilling to accept the reactions of a wolf pack being hoarded and surrounded. Were you supposed to give up? Die on the soul? Be in prison?
That doesn't change the fact that we murdered his friends. It doesn't undo that fact. That fact is still true. We were the cause of the deaths of many of his friends that day. So that would be like saying if for any reason we were in a circumstance where my allies and I were forced to attempt to restrain someone, and that person retaliated and murdered everyone except for one of us, there would be a feeling of disdain regardless of how threatening we looked to begin with. So I can't fault him for being upset that we took away a lot of his close allies, regardless of our motive.
I'm not saying you should feel any sort of way. However, I believe the main cause for all of this is the thief of the Jade Medallion.
Well, the true thief is dead. And those who were involved are dead. But we know what good that did us. Landed us in another form of punishment and task to fix said screw up. It's a never-ending cycle.
It does end, Kasumi. It does. Don't think that it doesn't. But I know when I am not wanted. I will leave you to your peace. And Lakin will walk back up.
She just, like, deeply exhales, finishes her tea, and then goes to bed.
I don't think you killed everyone involved. I think you let the little halfling dude go, didn't you?
Need to know that?
Well, no, that was just me being like, I don't remember now.
More like it wasn't me saying, it was me legitimately just forgetting, because that was how many fucking sessions ago?
Yes, unintentionally lying, you monster.
That was like 3 years ago.
Who are we referring to again?
Angel. You guys basically held his companion hostage.
Yeah, we threatened to kill his bird again if he didn't leave.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do a deep dive and be like, I think he's still alive.
Listen, do you know how many sessions ago that was?
No.
It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was wild.
All I know is I'm still carrying around that bitch's sword and killing people with it. Yeah.
Speaking of you.
Oh, I thought you were about to say speaking of bitches. I appreciate you not saying that.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Fuck you.
So, you head in to Fern's right in the middle of the morning rush. He greets your arrival. Morning, Zaan. Sorry, I'm going to need just a little bit of a moment. We're going to pact, and Emma's got other duties today, so it's just me.
I can run a few things to tables if you need be.
Oh, thank God, here you go. And he gives you just like armfuls of plates. He says, those are for the customers. I'll make some for you later. Just go. you just see him start like flipping eggs and like turning sausage patties over.
Zaan helps.
It takes you a little bit. When you walk through there, it is a packed house. For whatever reason, just everyone in the upper city is coming around for it. It does take a little bit of time for it to die down enough for you to be able to just get a word in edgewise with him. You would come back and he'd already be having another plate ready for you to go. But eventually you do get a chance to kind of chat with him. He gets you a nice hearty plate of meat, biscuits, toast, eggs.
Yes, meat.
Just all the meats. He himself is just sipping on a cup of coffee, and he goes into his study and comes out and says, unfortunately, I was only able to procure one of these. Otis is a busy howling, and it's the only one he had that he'd be willing to part with, so that's all I got for you. I'm sorry.
That's okay, son. Bug him more if you can, just in case. You know, this is what it is. But I appreciate you, what do I owe you for this?
Don't worry about it. I'm just glad to see that you're all still alive and kicking.
For now.
Tell you what, if you make it back to the Knightly Kingdoms, I'll let you buy me dinner.
Oh, you're on.
I don't know why you had to say it so weirdly, but okay.
Oh, no, I said you're on.
Oh no, she's still around.
Oh, yes. Totally didn't say that.
Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Just pass along the message that I said hi, and I hope she's doing well.
Well, we can certainly do that. She's been whipping them new recruits into shape. It's been right funny waking up in the morning and watching them do laps around the barracks.
Okay, was this? Thank you very much for your time, fun. I hope you continue to do well.
I have been for the last couple of centuries. I don't see why tomorrow won't be any different.
Good on you. All right, well, you have a nice rest of your morning. I'm going to go to bed.
Good luck. Good night. Okay. You come back through. Kasumi, how long are you staying down in the kitchen area? And Lakin, are you just sitting in the front bay window?
Yeah, like a creeper.
Okay.
Kasumi just goes to bed after she finishes her tea.
Okay. Pez, you were hanging out in the banister area. So Lakin goes and sits back down. Do you take up your space by the table again, or?
What time is it?
It's getting late.
Yeah, I guess.
You guess what? You go to bed?
Yeah.
Okay. So Zaan, by the time you come back from Ferns, Pez has already Pez posed under the table. Lakin has taken up his perch by the front bay windows. So, what would you like to do?
It's like something serious happened here. Oh, about bedtime. Just gonna
I taste drama.
go sit in the other chair, kick my feet up, fucking start snoring.
Okay. So, Zaan very quickly goes to sleep faster than anyone alive ever, and then brags about it.
I'm better than you.
The next few days go with very little issue. Moriko, from your vantage point up on top, you see a few people milling about on the road. Seem to be heading along with carts that are very, very sparsely filled. You do see some crates and what looked like some wicker baskets, but none of them seemed overly full. As it's trundling along on the dirt roads, they're bouncing quite a bit, so even if there is something in there, it's not very heavy. Seems fairly in line with the general decrepit nature of the country as it currently is, the famine-riddenness of it. For the next 2 days, is there anything that anyone wants to do as you carry along?
Not yet.
Okay. So, days go on by, and Moriko, with you being up top, you pass the main road the previous day, the one that you had initially come down from Chunsu. You told Cassie to keep on going, and then about midway through the next day, getting on into the evening hours, you see a road that's, well, not as large as the one that you're on. It still seems fairly well traveled, just less maintained, if that makes sense. It's a little bit more ruts in the ground. Thankfully, Cassie's able to fit just fine, and it's a smooth enough ride, but if she were to try to turn and get off the road, she might need a little bit more oomph to get over that rutted hump. But even now, you're able to smell the oh-so-familiar salty air that you were so familiar with where you were growing up in the Tempests Mountains. And getting on into the evening hours, the sun's casting long, long shadows, and you're beginning to see rooftops and what looks like street lanterns being lit in the distance. And from the angle that you're at and how the sun is hitting it, you can see the shimmering, sparkling waters of the Kudong Harbor. So, you are all approaching the town. Moriko, you and I would assume at least Lakin, being in the front bay window, would see this. What are you all doing?
Yes.
What's the plan?
I will go to the top where Moriko is.
Should we stop? Cassie, do you think we should stop?
Well, I don't know. You told me to go. I'm going.
Eh?
I mean, I'm gonna stop before I get to the water. I don't think I can swim.
Please. No, I don't think you can swim either.
I could try.
No.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Not a houseboat.
Son just hears houseboat. Do we need a boat? Never makes his cart a boat.
So you do hear the heavier figure of Lakin coming up to the roof and kind of getting up closer to you.
Rika's gonna just... Do you think we should stop?
Well, that depends. No one knows where we're supposed to go. Are there prefects or mayors or village chieftains?
Or
That we could
super
seek out.
emperors.
Well, the way Tanaka was saying is that it's not really like someone in charge, it's more someone that has more authority or takes charge.
I would
But I think
assume there are red guards here.
But we should probably
I
figure
will
out like
find
which
Tanaka.
prefect this is.
Okay. You go and you find Tanaka. He has been staying in the guest room. He comes down for meal times and he'll, in relative politeness, spend some time with you all, but generally he's still keeping his distance. You go and you knock on the door and he answers and, hello.
We have arrived at the prefect.
All right. Suppose I can go and ask some questions, unless one of... He kind of like tries to peer around and sees that you're the only one in the hallway, unless you would like to go.
I had a query, as I'm not familiar with this area. Are there other red guards, such as yourself, in these prefects?
Yes and no. My understanding, and I have not been in this area before, I apologize, but every region has a contingent of red guards. I do not know how heavily this area is patrolled, and many of the red guards here, from my understanding, are more in line with the Navy. They are slightly different from the usual city guard that you would expect. The short answer is I do not know.
Perhaps we could attack this from two fronts. If you could talk to your cousins in the Naval Guard, we could seek out village elders.
Did it send him to AFK again?
Everything.
Yes, we can still hear him when you hit move.
I will see what I can do. It is not like you are difficult to find again. So, and he kind of like squeezes his way past you around the door and starts to head down towards the entryway. Goes down the steps to look through the bay window just to kind of... He's not like getting away from you, he's just kind of curious to see where you're at. So he kind of leans against the back of the chair to look through the window as you're speaking to him still.
Oh, never mind. I thought he was going to leave me in the dust.
Let's say, what chair does he lean over?
Not yours.
Oh, damn it.
I'm pretty sure he could see the radar dishes and know to avoid it.
You
He's
have
got
to be mean about it.
He's got them Doug Dimmadome ears. Just...
Yes. Hello, Zeton.
He kind
Tanaka,
of
what do
grunts
you
at
know
you.
of this blight?
Only what the Emperor, or what the Shogun told you. That it is some sort of plague that is spreading through the calm water piers. They have evacuated most of the buildings between the three districts to try and halt the spread. No, very few are allowed in apart from healers. I do not know the symptoms.
Then we have our way in, because we have healers with us.
I thought you were going to say we could just get somebody sick.
We have healers. Oh, yeah, that's me, isn't it?
Well, thankfully, I am immune to disease.
Breathe through my fingers.
Jesus Christ. Yes, I will go and I will heal people.
You will not be going alone, Warrior Zaan. I will accompany you.
Oh no, that's great.
To keep an eye on you.
That's awful.
I kind of look over at Tanaka and I give him like a playful wink, which might be intimidating.
A wink. Right. When we get a bit closer, I will go and see what I can see.
Very well. Zaan, you should gather the others and inform them of the daring plan that you have volunteered yourself for.
Wait, hold 1 second here.
I walk
I
away.
was.
And he walked away, waddle, waddle, waddle.
Lakin, how's your wisdom?
Huh?
How's your wisdom?
It's alright.
Alrighty, well, you get a pass. I'm not going to command you.
I'd counterspell you.
I have more spell slots than you.
You think that?
Now I'm curious to test that fact. Because I have potions that give me spell slots back, and I'm willing to burn all 4 of those. No. Well, I will look for the others.
Okay. Moriko is up in the driver's seat. Not sure where Kasumi and Pez would be at this point in time.
I will listen for them.
With your rabbit ears.
Yes,
the
I'm pretty
kitchen.
sure. Oh. Kasumi, I'm glad I heard you. We're going out.
What are we going out for?
Apparently, I've been voluntold I'm a healer. So I'm gonna go heal people.
Oh. I thought
Yeah.
you were a healer.
Yeah. I'll go tell everybody about that.
Okay.
Do you know if that Pez is? Pez!
I'm right behind you.
Ah! Fuck! Said you heard everything I said.
Yeah. Multiple. Yeah.
I love that even in Pez's like camera, he's just in the gloom.
And does Moriko still on the roof?
Yeah, she's been sitting on the bench the whole time.
I was asking the 2 goobers.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Cassie, can you please open the door for me? Zaan walks up, jumps up on the roof. We are going places. You're invited. And by invited, I mean you're coming one way or the other.
Okay. I had a feeling that was going to be it anyway, so okay.
Yes.
Still
I need
got
to
it.
find Lake, and I don't remember if that was step 2.
I am sitting next to Moriko, up on top.
Glad I found you.
It's like, Moriko, where's Lakin? Ah!
Where are you people coming from?
He was too focused on the highlighter.
Can I slink up and slide up between them through the bench?
So they're both sitting there, and Pez just. Kasumi,
You play Whack-a-Pez.
this is the moment where you sneak up behind Zaan.
Oh, I will actually kill somebody if this happens. I will accept whatever punishment comes from it.
The higher dexterity.
I don't have a higher dexterity.
No, she does.
I know.
I'm aware. I'll still kill you.
You could try. Okay, so
If you can find me.
I don't need to find you. I just need to level the whole area.
if I remove
Find you by
everything,
volume.
if I remove everything, you are part of everything. Therefore,
There's 100% of the ground. I just need to remove 110% of it. We're good. Jesus Christ.
so scaring the crap out of Zaan aside, As the wagon gets closer to this particular part of Kudong Harbor, Tanaka lets himself out of the wagon, hops out, jogs ahead, goes into the city, or into the town, the village area, and he very quickly disappears from view. He's kind of looking around, trying to find anything, and is going down another side street. So you all are in this particular part of Kudong Harbor. What are you all doing?
I'm standing next to Moriko, Pez, and Lakin.
I am drawing a picture of the horizon.
Did we get Cassie to pull off to the side somewhere so we're not blocking?
It's easy enough. I mean, it might take her a little bit of rocking to get through the ruts, but eventually she does get out of the road.
Good job.
Thanks.
So I guess we need to go start looking for whoever's in charge here?
Zaan,
Yes, that is me. I am mighty.
you are not to kill anyone.
I make no promises.
You make a promise to yourself and your god, or you stay in the god.
I can't do that.
Why can you not?
She's dead.
Ah, we are back to this again.
Yeah, she's practice this again.
Regression.
You were the one who brought it up.
You are entering back into a governmentally controlled area. While
Yes.
still wearing the electroshock collars.
Yes.
Yes. Do you want your friends to die?
No. Well,
Then you will keep your sword in its sheath.
Zaan looks his back.
Reiko's gonna jump down.
Alrighty, so I won't use my sword. I'll use Fisty and Frank.
I will turn you inside out.
You can try. I have.
No, I
didn't work
can't.
out.
Let's go.
Zaan will jump down. Start walking
Okay.
up to Rico.
I'm gonna try to do the same and jump down, but just fall flat on my face.
I'm gonna grab Pez before that happens, put him on my shoulder, and jump down with him on my shoulder.
Pez goes, hit, hit.
He got uppies? That's not fair.
To be
We
fair,
are
you-
bonded bros.
The bro code.
To be fair, you got to ride on the pony, so
Yeah.
That's right, I did. Bro code.
So, you wander around for a few minutes. A lot of these, what look to be homes, are empty. Doors are left open. The interiors are cleared out. There are some people milling about, kind of sitting around looking very kind of, trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Dejected. Any that see you coming through, they kind of bow their heads slightly and slink off before you're even able to ask them anything. But eventually you do come upon a two-story structure that looks to be reminiscent of a tavern or an inn. The roof looks like it was made to look like dragon scales, but it is now dull and cracked. There are lanterns hanging all along the first floor's kind of outer roof edge. They seem to have once been dragon heads, but most of them are cracked and damaged and just weather worn. And even the wooden facade of the place has been it's like peeling paint and just generally not well kept at the moment. But the front door is open and you can smell what smells like food and the soft crackling of a fire in the interior.
The state of this building hurts me. It's a
It
professional
seems
building.
like there's people in there that we could ask.
Yes. Go right ahead.
I'm not very good with people.
Go on, Candle Liquor, get
All
in
right.
there.
Pez and I will go.
Yep.
Pez is our people pleaser.
I'm people.
So it's like,
Too late, they've gone inside.
yeah, just have fun.
So a
have fun.
kobold and an undead orc walk into a bar.
With the Candle Liquor close behind.
And
I'm
apparently
never
there's a
gonna
plague.
outlive that.
Nope, that was wonderful. I loved it. So, inside, the wooden tables are dusty and worn. There seem to be what looks like maybe dagger marks, just general cuts and wear and tear. There's a few patrons sitting around. There's two kind of sitting at one table, and they seem to be playing a game of cards. There's another sitting at a table at one side of the wall, and just completely slumped over. You can see there's like an empty mug of ale probably, and whatever contents that were in it is now spilled over the table, and that particular patron is passed out. The air inside is rather stale and just kind of musty. And behind the bar, you see a relatively thin, red-scaled dragonborn female. Wings are tucked in close to her back. What looks like used to be a really nice, bright red kimono is now faded and torn and a bit stained around the sleeves. She's wiping down the counter and sees the two of you come in. Well, new faces. Welcome to the Dragon's Breath Tavern. Just holding Pez up, speak.
I put him on one. Is there a bar stool?
Yes.
Or some sort of like lifted chair? I will put him on that chair.
It's one of those stools
I cast
that
guidance on him.
It's one of those stools that kind of rocks. So he's just kind of wobbling back and forth as you cast guidance on him. Welcome to the Dragon's Breath Tavern. We don't have much. That's it.
Well, go on, Pez.
We don't have much. That's it.
Well, we heard you need help. Maybe?
I can't say that I'm hiring at the moment. I'm barely able to keep this roof over my head and myself fed.
Riko's gonna walk in.
I mean, like, not you personally, but like the town and... Oh, Moriko, hello.
Zaan's right behind.
Pez, are you struggling?
Struggle.
He's doing just fine.
I give the chair like a hearty slap.
Which harbor precinct is this?
Oh,
Did I say that right?
You're in the Dragon Shore.
Okay. Heck, what was the name of the harbor that we need to go to? DM, do I remember? Because my brain is doing a dumb.
Make a history check.
Okay.
Because it sounds to me like you should have written it down.
Work makes brain jello.
Yep.
It's EPs.
Bold of you to assume we can write.
I mean, to be fair, Moriko herself, I don't know can write.
No. She can barely read.
Yeah.
Your words, DM.
19.
19. You were looking for a place called Calm Water Piers.
Okay. How far are we from Calm Water Piers?
Depends on if you wish to go along the dockside or if you wish to take the road back. I do not know what sort of mode of transportation you take.
We have a big wagon.
Big. Huge.
Is
Charge.
our wagon
Well.
is the biggest.
I have not seen this, so I do not know the size, but I am going to assume that it is large enough that it would not fit dockside. So you could try to go along the outskirts of the harbor, but it might be a bit bumpy. Or you can take the roads back. Either way, you are looking at maybe half a day's journey unless you take the roads, in which case it might be another day and a half.
Okay.
Which town is Zakamwata? How many towns over is it?
It is the next one over.
Ah, that is
But
lovely.
I will caution you that they are the ones that would be needing of assistance. If word travels around that is to be true, no one is allowed in. There is a sickness spreading through, and they are trying to keep it at bay.
We were sent to try and help with it.
I am
Oh,
a
wonderful.
priest.
Please hurry.
Come on, chew.
Before we do, can I have you step out from behind? She's behind the counter, right?
Yes.
Can I have you step out from behind your counter real quick, please? I promise I mean no ill will.
Make a persuasion check.
Sure.
He's a healer.
I'm actually good at persuasion. 15 plus 6, 21.
She steps around to the side. She doesn't completely come out from behind the counter, but she comes to the side of it and seems to kind of have her hand on the inside lip of the bar top.
How tall is she compared to me?
She can see over the bar. Like, her waist comes up to the bar, you don't.
Fucking asshole!
She's a
Okay.
dragonborn.
You picked a short character. What the
Dragonborn
fuck do you
big.
want from me?
She can see. How tall is she? She can see above the bar. Okay.
Is that not a great unit of measurement? We are in
It
the
is.
great land of America. We measure with everything other than the metric system.
I hate you, but I love you already. Zaan goes up to her, and the tears in her dress, he uses mending on all of them, one by one, repairing the dress.
Oh. Thank you.
Turn around. I'm gonna. If there are any on the back, I will do so.
I'm okay.
Oh, okay. And
Technically speaking, you would cast mending like once or twice, and the radius of it would hit kind of everything. So.
okay, works for me. And then he will take out 10 gold and put it on the table, and that is for your food.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Actually, no. Do mention it.
Come on, let's go. We have places to go.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Please.
As
No,
you
tell
as you
everybody.
turn and get to the door, you hear her hastily scraping the coins away, and if you glance over your shoulder, you'll see her looking at the patrons that are inside her tavern and looking like she's hoping they didn't see or hear anything.
I'll lean over the bar towards her.
Are you worried about your recent aquatic fund being taken?
No.
The way you were eyeing the patrons gave me a different perspective.
She kind of lets out a little bit of a huff, and smoke kind of comes from her nostrils. I'm able to take care of myself.
Very well.
I walk out, and Lakin doesn't do this often, but I'm staring at each and every person as I walk by. My eyes are glowing a iridescent green, and I am trying to intimidate a room.
Make an intimidation check on the two people that are actually awake.
This is obnoxiously for me. I have a +9.
We're not
That's a
going to
high
talk
number.
about obnoxious.
That's a 26.
26. As you walk past the gentleman playing cards and you kind of stop and give like a quick glance down at them, they just as quickly like look back down at their cards and just like just like very stiffly like please go away. Just successfully intimidated, it seems. It's hard to tell if one of them soiled themselves or if there's just something kind of nasty in the floorboards. All right, so you grab Pez.
Pez and put him on shoulder.
I'm gonna look back at the Dragonborn and say to her in Draconic,
Stay safe, sister of the scale.
She glances up sharply at you, her eyes narrow, and you see, while the smoke kind of leaks from her nostrils, there's a little bit of sparking from the corners of her mouth as she kind of looks at you. You're not sure what sort of emotion she's giving off, but you definitely got her attention.
You are quite poetic.
I try to be. It's the dirt. Speaks to me.
It gives flavor.
You mispronounced texture.
Great.
So one town over we go. I am, yes.
Calm waters.
Yeah, the next town over. Weren't you listening?
Yes, that's what I said. It was the next town over.
Okay. So you head back
We
towards
should
the
probably
wagon.
Find Tanaka.
Oh, yes. Oh.
No.
Or wait for him to get back to the cart.
Well, his track record for being waylaid is not the best.
Fair.
Probably put a tracking device on him like Hunter's Mark.
That's actually a good idea.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Can anyone, like, brain talk to him?
I don't think he wants that.
Oh.
From me.
Oh, wait, no, he doesn't want that? Yes. I can. I will.
Is there a receptionist saying, Tanaka, your family's waiting for you at aisle 3?
Zaan will message Tanaka.
Okay.
If you find wherever you need to go, if you are heading back to Zakat, love Zaan.
Can we hear you casting this sending message?
Please, sorry.
Get the fuck over here.
Yeah, it's just me that says it. Andale.
There's a very, very short pause before you hear Tanaka respond. I am waiting on you.
He's already at the cart. Let's go.
Very well. I will cast the Shadow Steed.
But Scott's right over there.
I still cast the Shadow Steed.
I did not stutter.
Weird flex, but okay.
Zod walks the what was like 100 feet over to the cart.
You wandered around for 5 or 10 minutes to try to find someone,
Yeah,
something to talk to.
Fuck you.
So he's sitting reverse saddle as the steed's going away, and he's just fucking.
Pez is also up there flipping off.
Oh yeah, you're a duo now. Okay. So you do eventually make it back to the wagon, and Tanaka is sitting on the steps towards the door again. He's just kind of got a little lump of wood, and he's just kind of whittling at it with a small dagger that he's got. Well, I know as far as I am aware that we are to go to the southwest of here. Southeast, my apologies. I would recommend that we attempt the side road instead of going back to the main, or we will be on the road again for another day or more.
The side road is fine.
Yes.
It may be a bit uncomfortable, but it will only take us, from my understanding, a few more hours to get to where we want to go.
How will it be uncomfortable?
The roads here are not well maintained, and it is my understanding that it has nothing to do with the current state of our lovely country. This is just a normalcy. These fine people here, and he gestures towards the town. Most of their trade is done off the docks. They have fairly little need for the roadways, so they do not care for them.
Yeah, judging by what I saw from beginnings, they need a lot more than just trade and decent roadways.
Well, that part I was told is because of the current state of our country.
Yeah.
I
All
thought
right, let's go.
No, for once, I agree with you. But I am going off of what I was told. So, shall we?
We shall.
Okay. So we'll load back up into the cart. Instruct Cassie to try to make her way around the outskirts of the town. It is very, very rough.
Do we feel it even in the cart?
On the interior, it's much more muffled, much more subdued. But even inside, you can kind of feel when there's a decently heavy bump. It's kind of that like, ooh, am I drunk? No, I'm good.
No, I know when I'm drunk. This isn't that.
Yes, I can feel my tongue still.
I have been drunk in many, many years.
It's a
We will have to
sad
change that.
existence. So, you spend the next few hours traveling along the outskirts of the town. It is beginning to edge its way on into nighttime. But eventually you do reach a point where there seems to be a contingent of red guards standing by. Mostly by the roadways. If you were to kind of go off to the field, you could probably get around them, but they don't seem to be terribly alert or active. You can just see that they're milling about, and as the wagon comes up to them, you see them all kind of start to stand up, make themselves sort of presentable. It looks like they'd been sitting there for a while, not really doing anything. And then as you get closer and closer, Moriko, I'm assuming with you being up top, you start to see them looking very confused of like, the fuck is pulling this thing? Tanaka hops out, and he goes and he speaks with them. Kind of looks back, gestures at the wagon. They seem to be trading pleasantries. Everything seems to be going okay. Moriko, make a perception check for me.
Perception.
And if there's anyone else up in the upstairs bucket that wants to make a perception check, you can. I just assume that she's up there because she's fucking always up there.
I'm just in a big chair.
Okay.
18.
18?
Ooh.
That's low for you.
Yeah.
Natural
I rolled an
20,
8.
24.
24. Okay. So, Moriko, you're kind of looking out and about. The guards are talking with Tanaka. They seem a bit reluctant at first, but then Tanaka kind of reaches into his armor and pulls something out and shows it to them. And they all kind of look towards one of their group, who seems to be like looking at them all, and then looking at whatever Tanaka's showing them. Tanaka tucks it back away, and they all go back and they go to sit down where they were previously milling about. Lakin, are you up in the top, or are you bay windowing?
I'm up with Moriko.
Okay.
Look out, buddies.
So, Tanaka gestures for you to follow him. He stays outside the wagon and is kind of acting as your sort of guide or the go-to sort of figure. And you can see that there's not nearly as many lights on here. There's a definite gap from where you had seen a home with lights on right where the guards were, and it's another 300-400 yards or more before you see the next light. And as you are trundling along behind Tanaka, who has his hand just kind of resting on the hilt of his blade, he doesn't seem to be on edge, but kind of careful. Lakin, with your natural 20 and your ability to see in the dark, there's a flicker of movement between the houses. It seems small. And you pass by a house. Man, I'm losing my voice. And you look down the alleyway again, and you see what looks like a small child with pointed ears. And you just see this purely innocent child look and just kind of wonder. But Cassie keeps going along, and you lose sight of the child. And you kind of have to do a bit of a double take. Somehow that child looked familiar.
To me?
To you.
How far away?
From the wagon, 60, 70 feet away. It seemed like...
I cast Bar Step and I teleport to it.
Okay. So, Moriko, you were sitting beside, and then there's a little... Poof, and Lakin's just gone.
Okay, bye.
Oh,
No!
damn it!
Lakin's gone.
How'd you like that shit?
That was fucking awesome.
Boom, I can teleport real life, motherfucker.
So, you disappear and reappear in that same alley, and you hear a squeal and a thump as this child kind of stumbles over herself and falls down. What are you doing?
I can see the child, correct?
Yeah, with your dark vision and all that, like, maybe not full color, but, I mean, you can see the child clear as day almost. Full detail.
Well, now that I'm closer, how would I recognize this child?
Make a perception or investigation check with advantage for me.
Really?
Well, can't do much better than that. That is a 19 plus 1. 20.
20.
Dirty 20.
So dirty.
You're looking at this child, and she's wearing very plain woolen kind of kimono. It's not pretty. It seems very utilitarian. Leather harnesses around the shoulders that go down to the waist. Looks like something that would be used to kind of attach something to on the back to carry it around. Brown hair, very fair skin, long pointed elf-like ears. Not half elf, proper elf. Brown hair, wide eyes, kind of in terror because, you know, fucking brick house just showed up in front of her. She's not wearing anything on her feet. Her feet are bare and dirty. And the facial features ring familiar to you. And you're not sure why at first. And as this kid is kind of scrambling backwards a little bit and just trying to get away from you, there's a moment of recognition. Looks like someone you've seen not but 3 seconds ago, but far less pink. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
What?
Bitch! God damn it.
So,
What the fuck just happened?
thank you all so much for joining us on this tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Apart from the hatred of my players towards me right now, is there any questions, comments, concerns?
Man,
Middle finger, got it.
I hope you
Deserved.
stub your fucking toe.
But all over
I
your
hope
body.
both sides of your pillow are warm.
Get stubbed, idiot.
So, we will see you all in the next 2 weeks to see who this child is and what the hell is going on in this particular village.
Surprise, sister.
Oh, that was better than what I was going to say.
Can I pet
Have
that
a good
dog?
night. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Hug your animals.
Look at him.
Love each other. Give each other treats. And we'll see you the next time we go live. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Fools and Flagons podcast. If you enjoyed this past adventure of the Tales of Archeron, you can catch us live on Fridays at twitch.tv/foolsandflagons.